So, you may or may not have heard about the game called 0 Hour, a recently released multiplayer tactical shooter game that aims at a lot of teamwork. But yeah, I bet you did hear of it, otherwise you wouldn't look up this review, with it? Well, in this review I will talk about this game in different categories. These categories will be as followed: game menu and options, gameplay and mechanics, graphics and optimization, developer care, and overall score and recommendation. On Steam, it currently has a total score of 73% positiveness, with close to 80% for recent reviews. But the question remains, is it really worth playing? To answer that question, we simply have to find out. So, let's start with the main menu. The main menu. Isn't it glorious? At first sight, the menu looks quite simple and easy to use. And I have to tell you, it actually is. What a surprise! On the main menu, you will be greeted with a couple of options and game modes. The current selections are as followed: Quick Match, to enter the match quickly with a checkbox to join matches that are ongoing. Co-op, which lets you play with up to 4 friends, so 5 players in total, against AI. You can compare it a little bit like Terrorist Hunt from Rainbow Six Siege. It actually plays exactly the same. But there's some additions to it, which I will talk about later on in this video. Custom matches, which you can create your own custom matches and lobbies, or join existing ones that people made. It's your choice. And of course, last and not least, we have the training room, which leads you to the kill house for speedruns, or a weapon range, which tests you out weapons and gadgets. So simple as that, nothing more to say. Above all these game modes, we get some tabs. Those tabs are career, settings, learn, and badges. I will just briefly talk about it so we can skip to the exciting parts of this video. Well, that's what you came for it, isn't it? Well, here we go. Career gives you a brief overview of your last matches and how you did. It also gives you your total stats and a list of the top players. Settings. All options about changing UI, region, and ra-di-da-di-da-di-da, you know what it is. Hey, look, a key binding menu. I just show you this because some other games didn't have that, so like seriously, who doesn't have this key binding menu? Literally, like, what game? Learn. Credits, rules, and so on. There we go, we have it. And I know, yeah, a gadget menu. So that shows you all the gadgets on the game. So yeah, nice to know. Oh, it's time for the exciting part. The gameplay mechanics. I have no clue what to talk about first. Maybe we start out with the loadout and deployment screen? Well, if you start your round, you better know what your loadout is going to be, because the timer runs fast. You got 20 seconds. On the left, you see spawn location and your current loadout. All available guns are as followed: the Scar, a shotgun with "excuse me for not knowing the damn name", an M4, a ballistic shield, a MAC-10, an MP7, and of course some AK variant. Handguns are the Glock and, well, a Desert Eagle. Utilities are as followed: a grenade, a flash, a door explosive, and a night vision goggle. Time for the planning phase. It's a 3D scan of the map and rooms in it. You can rotate the view and switch between floor levels. You can also see where the power is to cut the lights out and place markers. I spawned into the map, and not giving a single damn thing, I decide to kick down the door without any thinking. You decide to cut off the power as well and use the night vision. Night vision actually looks pretty good and it's easy to walk around with. I like as well the idea of using a weapon laser to aim through the night vision. I find it easier to shoot and navigate through the map. It's a very good point. When you are going through the level, you notice that the enemies have godlike reflexes sometimes, even shooting you before you can even respond. Welcome across 2 types of enemies. The first one is the brainless bro that stands and sits there, sometimes even hiding under the bed. Like, no kidding, they just find themselves under the bed. Nice mechanic actually, I like that. And they wait there until you come in line of sight. Others will hunt you down or patrol around the map, even outside of the house as well. Some things I notice sometimes is that they shoot you before their hands are showing around the corner, which leads you towards unauthorized use of force. Yes, you heard that correctly, you have unauthorized use of force. To win the match, you have to get scores of minimal 80 on top of 100. To score points, you have to do these things: secure the hostage, secure the weapons, which you can do by picking up the guns from the enemies, killing enemies, not dying of course, and also by completing the mission entirely. As you can gain points, you can lose them as well. And well, there were some questions to be asked. You will lose points if you trigger the traps, which you can find in door openings. You can disable them by standing close to them and then holding the V key, or just simply shoot the grenade. Unauthorized use of force. You can shoot before they start shooting or killing enemies that are surrendering themselves. Here I have some major issues. The enemies need to shoot at you first, until you can kill them, otherwise you lose points. I found a way to get some points at cases by shooting the foot or the arm one time to activate the combat stance, if you want to call it like this way, and then just finish them off. If a team member dies as well, you get some points reduction. Also, if you shoot the hostage, well, of course this is a very basic mechanic. If you shoot the hostage, of course the mission will fail. And of course if you don't pick up all the weapons from the map, which leads to some penalties as well. Now, if you take a closer look at the point system, do you feel a little bit confused, or is it just me? Suspect arrested, 13 total, versus suspects neutralized, 24 total. I mean, why not have both the same number? There are 24 enemies on the map, which you can max points. There are 24 enemies in the map, but why do you have your max points at 13? Maybe just a gameplay decision? I mean, sure, maybe you have max points if you like arrest 13 total, I don't know. I don't score well in it. Even if I play with some friends, we still couldn't manage to get above 80. I guess we must just suck at the game. So there's no review about the other two maps, unfortunately. If you look a bit more at the gameplay, you see some climbing and some other guns. I will just let the film roll for a couple of seconds and leave some footage. It is time to switch to the graphics. Graphics wise, the game is mixed, and I mean blender it, shake it up, until you can't see what it is anymore mixed. Some textures are so stretched and enlarged, it's just a nightmare to look at. Look at this wall. Or this poster. You mean trees could not look that bad, you think? Like, I mean 2D trees? So close to the player field, you can clearly see that it's flat. Hell, even the tower looks like a cardboard cutout. Also, walls are flat and, well, they have no displacement at all, sadly. The weapons look clean as well, and the lighting is actually a blessing to look at. Optimization wise, the game runs very well with around 90 to 100 FPS and played on max settings. But looking at some of those textures actually lets me guess why. On to developer care. The developers are putting out updates quite often, fixing or adding stuff into the game, which also a experimental mode with is under NDA for some reason. I have no idea honestly if they are very active on Discord, since I'm not in the servers, so I have no information about that. So let's give the game a personal score. My score is rather mixed though. The game has a very low player base. With an average of 40 players on the game, it's going to be very tough to find matches. On top of that, some issues like hitbox detection that is actually just awful sometimes. The hard time to get the needed 80 out of 100 to unlock the next maps on co-op mode just puts me a little off as well. Maybe lower it to 65? Or unlock them all. Just before the release will be nice, just to test some stuff out. The gunplay is great and the weapons most of the times feel punchy and sound well as nice. Some sound effects could do better, but it's an indie game, so it's not a big company, no big deal. The price currently is about 10 euros on Steam, so if you want to help the game out and you have an extra 10 to spare, why not go for it? I mean, it's 10 bucks. Personally, I give it between a 5 and a 6 on 10 because it lacks the players and it needs a lot of polishment. But it makes up at the low price they set it for. If you liked this review and want to see more, consider smacking the cheeks of the sub button and hitting the like in the nose. I've done my part here now. I wish you all a very nice day. Hive, signing out.